The views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL, but we are the ones who've always encouraged you all along since the very beginning to go ahead and like and share them on social media, especially this show, because Martin County Roofing and independent insurance agent Rudy Howard presents to you at this time on a weekly basis each and every Wednesday night at 6:05, the African American Scene, hosted by the one and only Rudy Howard.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Always glad to be with you here on a Wednesday night. News flash, it just came across my phone. Frances Tiafoe just won another match at the U.S. Open. For those of you who don't know who Frances Tiafoe, he's from Maryland. He's an American, he's an African American, and he's going to the semifinals. Wow, 24 years old, out of Maryland. Boy, oh boy, that's a big one. If he wins it, it'll be earthquake news. But anyway, I'm sure some of you out there probably know that. But you can look it up. Frances Tiafoe, Tiafoe. Let me tell you this. This is a little bit of world news to bring you up to date. Britain will officially have a new prime minister, Liz Truss, when she meets with Queen Elizabeth II and receives the official go-ahead to form a new government. Under the parliamentary form of government, the prime minister has to form the government from the people in the parliament who support him or her. Now, let me give you a little statistical information, then let me get to the other point I want to make. Only 18% of Brits said that they had a favorable view of Truss, and 44% said that they had an unfavorable view. She has pledged to follow a conservative line of policy, and she will be cutting taxes and I know cutting spending. So, and our economies, the economies worldwide are in a state of flux. So, and so, I just finished. I'm so happy. Those of you that have listened to me for a long time, annually I have to go through this process of taking tests to certify to be able to represent Medicare companies in the upcoming season, which starts next month. Well, I finally finished my tests. Oh, I'm so happy. I had a little setback because of my illness, as you guys know. So I didn't get started till later.
You're not the type of guy that sits something out because of something, just something, a little illness come along.
Yeah, that's, hey, we hang in there.
We do what we got to do.
Yep. And so I got that passed, and that's delightful. And now I got to go to the companies and pass their tests. But I got the big one out of the way. That's the federal government's test. Okay. The young lady that called me last week at the end of the show, please feel free to call back. I'll be glad to entertain your call. I enjoyed speaking with you. Okay. Tonight, topics. If this is the first time that you've ever listened to me, the way I roll is I give you topics. I ask for your comments, and then I go back and fill in the information associated with those topics. Topic number one. which there has been a lot of consternation about this topic: student loan forgiveness. Student loans forgiveness. Topic number 2. This is a different approach. What's on your mind? Maybe I can help. It doesn't matter whether it is positive or negative. I want to hear what's on your mind. Topic number 3. Port St. Lucie trash nightmare.
I think it's almost wake-up time, though. I hear from keeping my ear to the rail that things are moving now, starting to move,
Yeah. Topic number 4. Top 10 reasons family is important. Top 10 reasons family is important. And the reason why I wanted to do that is because in this contentious political environment, there are some families that have separated due to contrary political views. And I don't think that's the right thing.
How are those families holding up?
Yeah.
You know, the guy and the husband and the wife, one decides, well, my vote will cancel out yours.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, my.
Okay. Okay. On those topics, we want to hear from you. That's 340-1590. That's 340-1590. And the big one I threw out there, what's on your mind? Maybe I can help. It does not matter whether it is positive or negative. I want to hear from you. And if I can offer some advice, I will do so. Okay, student loan forgiveness. There's a lot of people out there who have thrown a lot of barbs at people getting $10,000 relief on their student loans. I had student loans. I don't begrudge them. And let me give you an example of why your position about the student loan forgiveness makes no sense. Your property taxes pay for kids to go to high school, middle school, and elementary school. When you have your kids finish and you still own your house, you're still paying for taxes to send people's kids to elementary school, middle school, and high school. So you're still spending the money, and you don't have any kids in the school anymore. Are you whining and complaining about that, or do you do it because it's your neighbor's kids, which are part of your community, so you don't have a problem making a contribution toward that? And we have Winnie on line 1. Yes, Winnie.
How you doing? Good. Oh, I don't have no problem. I don't mind paying it if it were me, because if all my kids is grown and everything, but I won't mind at all, because look, it's for other people's children, other people's kids, and things like this. I got something on my mind. That's one of my topics. You heard about that lady Fletcher? She was a school teacher. She was jogged and everything, and the guy, the black guy, and they say they accused he he was suspect of killing her. They say he got a criminal record, been in prison before. They let him out or something like this here. And one of the ladies who were talking to this attorney said this time he might get the chair, might get death row. So what you think? What's your take on it?
Well, Winnie, I believe I heard today that they found her and she's dead. And
Yes.
he's locked up in jail. And what you heard about was that 20 years ago, he got, well, I guess it was a little more than 20 years ago, he got arrested for kidnapping a lady. And he did 20 years in jail, and he got out in 2020, I believe. And he then committed this tragic, and this young lady had a couple of kids too, so it's really a tragic thing. So I don't know what possesses a guy to do something like that, but
Yeah. But that's good. But she getting a lot of media attention. Put me on my Gabby, the blonde hair, blue eyed lady, Gabby Bryant.
Yeah.
And she getting a lot of and some black got my friend, her friend got my daughter's friend got me. She'll never get no media attention like that.
Yeah.
And she been missing about 2 years. They find her car but nobody.
Your friend's daughter. Your friend's daughter.
My oldest daughter's friend in Orlando, Florida. She
Yeah.
been missing 2 years. They found her car in Jacksonville. Nope, and they ain't found her. They ain't found no remains. They ain't found a body. They found her car, but she don't get no media attention like Gabby
Yeah.
and this lady here, Fletch. You know how that is.
Yeah.
I guess when you're black, you're black. When you're white, you're white. I'm just saying that's my opinion. That's my comment. All right, have a good night.
Okay, you take care. Yes, Phyllis, how are you?
Fine, thanks. How are you, Rudy?
Okay.
I didn't call about the comment about the murder, but I just heard the end of it. But supposedly he was let out prior to his whole 20 years. And what they're saying is if he did his whole 20 years, he'd still be alive today. And that's what you get for letting these people out early. But in any case, and supposedly he committed rape at the age of 12. I mean, he was not a nice guy.
No.
So I don't know why they let him out early. But I really called you about the college loans.
Yes.
And saying that you didn't have a problem with paying for other people's college loans. And a couple of things that I have a problem with that is, we pay through kids through K through 12.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I never have any children. I don't have a problem with that. But I have a problem when you go to college, and I went to college, and I worked 42 hours a week to work myself through college and pay my loans.
So did I.
And I think when you have skin in the game, you're a little more dedicated. And one of the people across the hall from myself were studying for exams. The stereo's blasting. I'm like, can you please turn it down? I'm trying to study. Don't you want to study? Oh, I don't care. I don't have to maintain a C or a D because she was getting a free ride. Oh, okay. So that's the first problem. The second problem is when you sign that dotted line, that's your loan, not my loan. I didn't co-sign for your loan. I have a mortgage. I have car loans. I have things to pay. Now, if you get these people out of debt or help them out of debt, what about the next group and the next group and the next group? You need to get to the problem, which is the colleges overcharging all these students. It's absurd, the amount of money they're charging them, and they got billions of dollars in their accounts. There's something wrong with this program. So, and then you get people say, oh, yeah, but when you went to school, it was cheaper. Yeah, it was cheaper, but I was making $2.09 an hour working. So that's the problem that I have with all this. And then they say, well, we had COVID and they're going through a tough time. Yeah, I get that. But so are the people you are now asking to pay their loans. They went through a tough time. They have a family to support. They have a mortgage to pay. They lost their jobs. They had no job to go back to because a lot of the businesses closed. So who's more at a disadvantage? Kids living at home with their parents with a college loan, or the people trying to struggle to keep a roof over their head and food on the table for their children. That's how I look at it. I don't think it's fair.
Okay. Well, I can understand how you don't think it's fair, but you own a property, and like I said, you pay property taxes that pay for kids, your neighbor's kids to go to school, and you don't have any kids. Is that fair?
No, but how much? Okay, so I'm willing to help people out. I'm not unwilling to help people. I do a lot of charity too, but when does it stop? I mean, why am I going to pay? Let me ask you this. Okay, you're going to pay for kids' college loans that can get out and make six figures. Well, you're not even coming close to making six figures. Does that make sense?
Well, I don't think that's the case, though. To tell you the truth, the program is not really designed to help the kid that's coming out making six figures, and we're going to give him erase $10,000 worth of debt. But let's look at it this way, okay? I'm going to give you another perspective to look at.
Let me ask you what you just said about the kids about not making six figures. When they're going to pay the kids' college loans, you think they're going to look at who's becoming an attorney, who's becoming an engineer, who's becoming what? No, they're just going to say, you got $10,000, wipe it off your account.
No.
They're not going to look at what you're studying.
No, that's not the target. Matter of fact, I'm looking here at the president's presentation, and the actions designed to help the borrowers, nearly 90% of the relief will be going to borrowers earning less than $75,000 a year. Okay, that's the
when they get out of college, you're saying?
Yes, that is the target for the help with the $10,000. Now, in the end, Phyllis, think about this. If they have that $10,000, they probably can't buy that house or buy that car or put other economic, help the economic engine in the community. But if they are relieved of the debt and they're able to buy that house, they have made a contribution to the community and also made a contribution to the taxes for the community.
That's if they can continue to pay that house or they don't default. Because a lot of people today want something they know they can't afford, and they do it anyway. Okay, like more responsible people, I took a year off from school so I could save money to go to college. I have never been on a cruise. Nobody seems to live within their means today. I want it now, and I want somebody else to pay for it. That seems to be the attitude. How many of these kids are still living at home? How many are having babies that their parents are raising? They're raising their grandchildren. The whole world's upside down. Nobody seems to be responsible for their own business anymore. It's somebody else's problem. Just like that poor woman that got killed. You know, a lot of people said, well, what was she doing out jogging at 4:30 in the morning? Why was she jogging? They know that's not a good area. That's her fault now. You know what I'm saying? It's always somebody else's fault. You signed the loan. That's your loan. Okay? You want to help me pay for my mortgage? I mean, when does it stop?
Okay. I hear you. I got to let you go. I got another caller.
We're making people indebted to the government is basically what we're doing. And until they hold the colleges responsible to lowering their tuition fees, this is never going to stop. It's only going to keep going up.
Phyllis, thank you for your call. Don't be a stranger. We got Jay on line one. Jay.
Okay. Yes, sir. Good evening, Rudy. I appreciate you taking my call. You know, the sad part about it is that we don't have compassion anymore. So it's the people on the bottom. It seems like they suffer all the time. You know, kids that want to go to school and get a college education and try to be bring something to this, to this country and do something. And you just give them a break. And the thing that's so sad is I remember growing up when I was living in New York, they didn't have to pay tuition. All they had, if you got the right grades coming out of high school, you go to college free in New York.
CCNY.
You paid for your books. That's all you had to pay for was your books.
Yep.
And things like that. And all of a sudden everybody got amnesia. They forgot about that. And now today, with the big corporations making money hand over fist, they pay less in taxes than I do. And I'm retired and just barely making it on my retirement. And people that's working hard every day, making minimum wages, pay 35%. And they raise health because they want to bring it up to 15% for billionaires.
Yeah.
Who want to buy, all they want to do is get another yacht. You know, and I listen to the average ordinary person like your last caller. She's just a regular ordinary. I don't think she's a billionaire. But, you know, they kind of like to defend the rich and people that have the money that, you know, that are doing all of this and creating havoc with loans to youngsters for student loans. They're making, you know, the interest rates and everything. And Elizabeth Warren had a good plan. She wanted to take it out of the corporate hands and let the government do it with maybe, you know, without any interest rate or very low. But that didn't go because the conservatives don't like that because they figured, well, we got to let these corporations make their money. We got to let them get, you know, another $1 billion.
Right.
So that's the problem, and I don't know if a lot of people understand that, but that's where that is, and it's very sad just listening to people say, well, I did it, so why can't they? Well, that's being selfish. So let the youngsters, and you know who it is, you know, and that's what's going on in this country now. They don't care about other folks except the ones that they grew up with or live with or their relatives, and it's kind of like going backwards in this country. And the rest of the country, especially in Europe, the kids go to school for free there, college.
A lot of
all
places.
European countries. I've been over there in Europe. I was there for 3 years in the military.
Most of the places there, they go to secondary college for free. Yeah.
Yeah, most of the things that we take for, you know, we worry about and you know, worry about getting sick because we don't have money to pay for health care. Those folks in England and Germany, in France and all that, they don't have to worry about that because that's taken care of. They pay their taxes, and they don't have to worry about if they get sick or if they want to get an education. Those are the two main things that really cause people to go into bankruptcy. And it's just so sad listening, people crying and complaining, you know, and blaming it on this and saying, well, you know, they should know, they should do this. And it's always the people that making 75, like you said, it's only going to get up to 75,000. But that's not good enough for them. They think, you know, they know it's not the ones that's making billions because they don't care if they got money, they can pay for it.
Yeah.
And it's just so sad listening to that, Rudy. And it just goes on and on and on with this country, and we're just going backwards.
Yeah.
You're talking about losing a democracy. We're going to lose everything because the people are not together here. They're just thinking about, they're very selfish, and they just think about themselves and their family. And, you know, and the criminal justice, everything is, look, and now we're on the map here in Fort Pierce because of the judge.
Yeah.
We are on the map. Most people, friends call me from New York, what's going on down there? I said, well, she was appointed by, by the ex-president. And I guess, you know, the society that put her in for that job, for the, you know, court, you know, the people with the big money who actually, Trump don't know anything about these people that want to be judges. He goes to this conservative club, and they give him a list of people to put up for judgeships, and then she was one of them. So I guess she's paying him back, and so now that's what she did, and she's going against everything this government is against. And our security, national security, is more important than anything she could think of, anything she can actually think of in her mind, whatever she wants to call it or whatever she wants to get a master or whatever. That is not important. The most important thing is national security, and that's been exposed.
Jay,
I'm almost sure it's been exposed.
I got to let you go. I got another call.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Jay. And we got Becky online, too. I can't believe I got 2 women in the same night. I love it.
Oh, don't forget Winnie.
I'm sorry?
I thought you had 3.
3?
Yeah. What? Winnie.
Oh, yes, Winnie. I'm sorry. You're right. I had 3 women in the same night.
Yeah.
I usually get Winnie. But anyway, Becky, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I just wanted to let you know I've been listening to your show since before the last election in 2020. And you were my voice of reason, my sanity when I was driving home from work at night. I really was struggling so much, and it was just so nice to hear someone that spoke rationally and gave their opinion in a way that was just totally amazing to me. So thank you for that.
Thank you for the compliment.
And I just wanted to comment. I know people are very upset about the whole student loan forgiveness, but I am one of those people that raised my son, who's 9 years old. He's been on his own since he went away to college. He borrowed money. He worked his way through college. We did not help him at all because we were not able to help him at all. So he has a college loan, and he has paid it back since the time that he finished college.
Can you speak closer to the microphone?
Oh, sure. I'm actually on my cell phone, so let me turn on my speaker.
Okay.
Is this better?
Yes, a lot better.
Okay. Anyway, my son is 29, and he went to college. He went to a 2-year college. He borrowed the money to go to school. He did not get any scholarships. He worked his way through college. We could not help him. So he has loans, but they're less than $20,000. But he's been paying back his loans since he got out of college. And it's been a real struggle for him because he's also had to pay his rent. He lives out of state. He doesn't live here in Florida. So he's had to pay his rent. And he's had to, pay utilities and pay all of his bills. He has a car payment. We've not helped him at all. So my thought is, it's great that they're going to be helping some of these kids because he really was hoping someday he would have a house. And now that he's going to have this amount of debt possibly forgiven, it's not a given. He may not be eligible. We don't know. But if he has $10,000 left on his credit report that he owes, he may actually one day be able to buy a house or save up enough money to be able to buy one.
That's what I was talking about.
That's my take on it.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't think and I don't think that the American public, the taxpayers, are going to be footing all the bill for this. I really don't. Any more than, we've had to pay for a lot of things that people think that we have to pay for.
They're not, Becky, because of just what you said, which is what I was trying to explain to Phyllis. If they do forgive the $10,000 loan, that means that will give them an opportunity to input into the economy in their local community.
Right, exactly.
And so that's an investment. They're not going to hold on to that money because most of them who owe the money are like your son. They're hanging on by a thread and trying to get by. And what that will do, allow them to breathe and save save some money and wham, into a house. Yes.
Well, I think what really frustrates me is when people say that they don't think that people understand when they take out a loan. I know for a fact all of my son's friends that went to college when they graduated high school and had to take out loans, they knew that they were going to be paying them back. Nobody ever expected that they would get any assistance paying them back. They just knew that they would have to work until they paid them off.
Absolutely.
There was and I don't think that's going to be the case either. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I don't think that kids going into college are going to be like, oh, well, I'll just go to college and have $10,000 forgiven. I don't believe that that's going to be the mindset.
No,
I think there's going to be
not.
stipulations as to, okay, if you borrow this much, this is what, what the assistance could be based on your qualifications.
Yes. Yeah. I agree.
Well, I just wanted to let you know that I definitely listen and I appreciate everything that people say, but I do think that people are a little bit misled on some of the things, the way that they're actually going to actually come through for people.
Yes, I agree completely.
Oh, and I also wanted to give you a suggestion to you and also to your listeners.
Okay.
I follow she's I don't know if you know who she is. She's a Boston College professor of history. Her name is Heather Cox Richardson.
Uh-huh.
She writes a post on Facebook every single day, and if you follow her, she only writes factual information. This is not like her opinion. She literally gets her information from very good sources. She's actually even met with President Biden and sat down and talked to him about basically the history that's happening. This happened a couple months ago. She's really amazing, and she writes every single day. She also does little podcasts if people are interested. Her main focus is to bring how history has brought us where we are right now. And her letters, she calls it Letters to America, they're fascinating.
and they're very factual, and it's a good read for anybody. I just wanted to share that with you,
And her
hoping
name
that
is
you would
Heather?
follow her as well.
Yeah, Heather Cox.
Richardson.
Okay, yeah. Let me write that down
Yeah.
because I
Yeah,
wanna. I will go out there and what she do is that a podcast or?
no, she does letters. She does a post almost every day or every other day on Facebook, and you can go back into like her archives and look at what she's written. But basically, she's just every night she sits down and she just recaps everything that's happening in our country, basically, and sometimes outside of our country, so that you have a better understanding. You're not getting it on the news. I don't care what channels you listen to. No news channel is giving you all the information at one time. They piecemeal it, or they show you what they want you to see.
Well, Becky, try News Nation. I've been watching News Nation recently.
Okay.
It is a channel that is dedicated to having straight down the middle, no opinion, just strictly delivering news.
I definitely will check that out, News
Okay.
Nation.
Okay. And I got another call. Thank you, Becky.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for taking my call, Rudy. Have a
Yeah.
great evening.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. And Phyllis, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Hello, Rudy.
Yeah.
I have a question. How about the guy said about not having compassion? I'm sorry, that's all wrong. He doesn't know me, and I have a lot of compassion. I have a question. Why don't the colleges have more responsibility in this? Like, if you go to their school for years and you graduate, how about they knock off one of the years that you owe them money, that they have billions of dollars? Why is it the families that are struggling paying for somebody else when these colleges are making billions of dollars?
Well,
So why don't they put it back on the colleges?
it depends on what college you go to. NYU, they have agreed to no longer charge students tuition going to med school. They just started a program in Chicago, I think it's called Something Hope, where they're funding the tuition for all the kids that's graduating from the inner city high schools to go to college. Now, I know you might find that offensive to you, but let's talk about why they would do that. One of the things I know about poor communities is that many of them feel they're trapped and there's no hope. And a person in a hopeless situation makes very bad decisions and often does things against their norms. So this Chicago program has decided if we can get these kids in college, and look, I know already, they're not all going to make it. Not all of them at all. Some of them are going to drop out. Some of them are not going to put forth the effort. But if you could save 50%, would it be worth it? Would it be worth it if you could save 50%?
There's something wrong with the college. It's not coming through my phone.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, there's something wrong with the system.
Maybe you got your radio turned up, the feedback.
No, I don't hear you on my phone. There's no conversation coming through my phone on your end.
Okay.
Voice
Hello?
over IP phones do that sometimes.
Can you hear me now?
He's talking to you still.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Phyllis?
Okay, we're not hearing Phyllis.
Hello?
Oh,
Yeah.
I only can hear you on the radio. I cannot hear you on my phone.
Well, the radio's going to mess you up because there's a little bit of a delay in there, and you won't know what we're saying or what you're saying, and it'll
No,
confuse
there's
you.
something wrong. I'm not getting any feed at all on my phone.
Okay.
Oh, well.
Well, the point that I was making is that there's a program in Chicago that provides inner city kids graduating from high school an opportunity to go to college. Now, I'm not naive, and I know that some of them will not make it, and some of them won't put forth the effort. But if you could save 50%, would it be worth it? Because the one thing I do know about poor communities, a lot of kids are trapped because they don't see any hope. So giving kids hope gives them a reason to do something different and behave differently. Now, you may not believe that, but I do. Are you still there? Maybe she's gone.
Okay, we're not hearing Phyllis anymore, I guess.
Yeah, Phyllis. Okay,
Last
Phyllis.
chance. One more. Hello. Okay, we'll have to
Yep.
we'll have to disconnect because we to talk radio. You got to talk.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good phone show.
But
Really
anyway,
good calls tonight, though.
yeah. Let me say one thing that Jay was talking about, and this is a typical kind of conversation anymore. There's this prevailing theme that if we help people, that we're making them dependent, or we're not making them pull themselves up by their bootstraps to be successful. And I don't know why we are caught up on that, because people need help. I know movie stars that were on welfare that are now great big movie stars, and they would tell you that if it wasn't for welfare, their family would have starved. I don't know. So is that wrong? Was that wrong to help them when they were poor? I don't want to be taken advantage of, for sure. I don't want anybody taking advantage of my tax dollars, but I certainly feel compelled to support those people that need a hand up.
Well, the greedy have never even thought about helping anybody ever. The greed is out there, but then again, some of the incentives that have to do with helping out and giving can be very beneficial to you personally. Look at the folks that are helping Roxy with Careology. Homeless folks that can't afford to get deodorant, toothbrushes, toothpaste, bar soap, toilet paper, adult diapers, whatever's needed. But she's out there doing something in their direction that's really helping. And some of the folks that out there that have all this money, they could sure use a nonprofit to adopt. You could really help a nonprofit. Billionaires. If I was a billionaire, I would probably pick 2 or 3 of my favorite nonprofits and let them have it. Yes, go for it.
Well, Jeff Bezos' ex-wife has spent an enormous amount of money. Remember, the big money that IRSC got, they got from Bezos' wife.
Yeah. A lot of folks don't know that. But
yeah.
That's a really, really big deal over there at IRSC, what's going on.
Yeah, $400 and some thousand.
You know what they're doing with some of that money? That money is going to help with tuitions. And they've got this plan that if you got good grades and keep up good grades, you could virtually do some local colleging at no big cost. You might not need a loan to get in.
Well, Cliff, it's even more than that. They announced earlier this year every student graduating from Treasure Coast High School will have the opportunity to go to IRSC for free.
Wow. Now, what's the difference between that and forgiving some student loans, $10,000 worth of each student loan, or is that an unlimited forgiveness of debt, or just we'll let you slide on 10,000 off of your balance?
Well, it's 10,000 for the base, and if you're a Pell Grant student, it can be up to $20,000.
Wow.
But I would venture to guess being able to go to IRSC for no cost
Yeah.
has got to be close to $10,000 for
Oh yeah.
the 2 years if you stay the 2 years. And that's not the first.
Yeah.
IRC is not the first. It's not the only place where they have provided a 2-year education. The first place that I know of that did it was Tennessee. That Republican governor provided 2-year education for free to the students graduating high school in the state of Tennessee.
You know, this just reinforces something. You always get in trouble when we bring this up.
I know, yes, right.
The cost of college versus the cost of prison.
Exactly.
We're not saying, let's sentence them to college. No, that's not what's been said here in the past. We're talking about, as a deterrent. If a kid that goes to college and gets a good education is less likely to be a criminal anymore,
Well, yes. Absolutely. And listen, the kid that can go to college and he can get some financial support, sometime they make it. Listen, I went to school with some really poor people from the Bronx and from Brooklyn. But my school had a program where it was trying to specifically support those people. Those people that I went to school with graduated, they have worked, and now many of them are retiring that I went to school with and have had wonderfully productive lives from poor Bronx and poor Brooklyn.
in spite of their
Right,
startup.
right, because my school was willing to help them.
Wow.
And I have heard them tell me on more than one occasion that they wouldn't be where they are if it wasn't for AIC giving them a helping hand to get their education. So, hey, listen, that's... So I don't know. I wish that we did not have the attitude that helping people somehow is a negative thing as opposed to a positive thing. I would say to you this, and I'm sincere about this. I don't want to be abused. I don't want to be abused in my personal life, and I don't want to be abused as a taxpayer. If I thought somebody was abusing the support that we were giving them, then I want to pull the support. But if we can help somebody get up and walk and become a productive human being, my God, let's do it. Let's do it. There's nothing to debate. Let's do it. Okay. Let's while I'm on this, let's just go to this. The top 10 reasons why family is important in our lives. Family can take a lot of forms and it serves various functions. It is the basis for procreation and plays an important role in socialization. So we are all directly or indirectly affected by this ancient institution. Structure, number one. The family has a hierarchy: the father, mother, children, and probably members of the extended family. The family has structure, and this structure creates a conducive environment for growth and learning, two very important processes. The family creates a support system that goes both ways. There is an exchange of resources, both physical and emotional, between members of the family, thus giving an individual access to everything they need to be a functional member of their family and society and provide more value as they grow. That's structure, number one. Number two reason, security. At some point in our lives, we all need protection. We are born helpless as children, oblivious of the dangers of the world. One of the most important roles of the family is to provide security on all levels: physical security, financial security, etc. Young members of the family don't have to worry about keeping themselves safe. The adults handle that responsibility until they're old enough to look out for themselves. Even after that, the family is still always there to provide security when it's needed. That's number two. So we got structure and security. Two reasons why family is important. And third reason, love. Love is the nucleus of everything. With love, anything is possible. The family is built on compassion, kindness, and affection. The family is built on love. We all need love to add any kind of value to the society we live in, because it is through love that we can give our best. How about that, huh? How about that? Do you think that's true? Do you think that's true about love as it relates to our family and as it relates to our society?
You'd hope so, certainly.
Yeah. Fourth element of family importance, education. Education is in two major forms, formal and informal. Before we head out to school and start the journey of formal education, the home front is our first school. We are taught manners, told stories with lessons to be learned, and we pick up things from parents and siblings. The family provides the first level of enlightenment and orientation needed to function effectively in society. And let me add to that. In my close relationship with Mike, our former superintendent, he told me one of the most important things when it comes to poor kids is their exposure to words. Words in a household have a huge impact on kids' learning because they learn different words, different meanings, and learn different pronunciations. So that is a powerful part of the learning process. I'm going to give you one more because we're running to the end of the hour. and I'll pick it back up next week. A sense of belonging. There is nothing as reassuring as being members of a loving family. It gives a sense of belonging and security. A family is like an emotional support system with no expiring date. You can tap into the resource anytime. So there you have it. That is a sense of belonging. And I will finish, and that was number 5. So I will give you the other 5 next week. I probably will do a.
By the way, we heard back from Phyllis that she apologized. What my suspicion is every once in a while somebody gets a bad phone line when they call in, and usually you just hang up and dial again. But we weren't sure, so we stayed with it, and well, come to find out, it ended up being it was unfortunate. But she apologized, and she's looking forward to calling you back again one of these days.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Phyllis. I look forward to hearing from you again. I like a different point of view, for sure. Well, folks, boy, that hour went by awfully fast. I would like to thank you for listening to the African American Scene. God bless and be safe, and I will see you right here next Wednesday.
African American Scene has archives on YouTube. Go to WPSLTV.com and binge watch some Rudy Howard's African American Scene. Why don't you? Okay?